Each of us carries a narrative, invisible threads we've woven about who we are and what we're capable of achieving. Most people drift through life unaware of these stories, letting them quietly dictate their boundaries. But here's the unshakable truth. You will never transcend the limitations of your self-told story until you recognize it exists and choose to rewrite it. Champions throughout history share one defining characteristic. They perpetually raise their own standards. Each time they reset the bar higher, that new level becomes their baseline, their breathing space, the altitude at which they naturally exist. Meanwhile, those who consistently reach only 60% of their goals inevitably drift back to familiar territory. That becomes their permanent residence, their default setting. So the choice presents itself starkly. Which discomfort will you embrace? The gnawing dissatisfaction of perpetual mediocrity, watching your dreams fade into regret? Or the electrifying discomfort of constantly pushing beyond your previous limits, resetting the bar again and again, choosing to live as someone who wins? Stop measuring yourself by past accomplishments. That's looking in the rearview mirror while trying to drive forward. Instead, measure yourself by what remains untapped within you, the reserves you haven't accessed, the strength you haven't summoned, the potential still sleeping in your bones. If you only hold yourself accountable to current results, you'll tragically confuse incremental progress with your actual potential. Without commitment to growth, you'll spend precious years managing your present circumstances instead of architecting your future. You owe yourself the discovery of your true capacity. Find out how extraordinary you can become. My grandmother taught me something profound when I was young. She looked at me with absolute certainty and said, "Don't broadcast your intentions. Just act. Then you'll discover what you're capable of." That wisdom eliminates the need for external validation. The only person whose permission you need to build unshakable confidence is staring back at you from the bathroom mirror each morning. Stop seeking approval from people unqualified to judge your dreams. How much longer will you postpone demanding excellence from yourself? The waiting must end. Begin immediately, this very moment. A new chapter stretches before you, and there's no superior time to start than right now. Consider desire as a contract with yourself to remain unsatisfied until you achieve what you want. When unhappiness surfaces, investigate the unfulfilled desire underneath. Desires are natural. You're a biological creature with purpose, but don't accumulate them unconsciously. Don't collect thousands like trinkets. Select your singular overwhelming desire and allow yourself to struggle for that one magnificent goal. Release everything else to find calm, peace, and focus. Transformation happens when you translate mental visions into tangible action. This conversion brings ideas from the realm of possibility into physical reality. Everything surrounding you now, every innovation, every creation, originated as someone's thought before materializing into existence. Your laziness and lack of discipline ripple outward, affecting more than just yourself. Whether you recognize it or not, people depend on you today. More critically, people will depend on who you could become tomorrow. Your choices about who you decide to be carry immense weight. When you haven't forged mental strength to handle genuine difficulty, you'll be too consumed by personal problems to help anyone when crisis arrives. Every winner has lost. Every winner has battled depression, endured heartbreak, wrestled with disappointment, confusion, frustration, and rage. But they kept advancing. That singular commitment separates winners from everyone else. Nobody wins continuously. But everything troubling you now will eventually be okay. Whatever burden you're carrying will ultimately resolve itself. The notion of lost causes doesn't exist unless you abandon yourself. Then, and only then, is the case truly lost. You possess the power to determine your destiny, rich or struggling, mediocre or abundant, miserable or joyful. This decision belongs solely to you. Transformation happens gradually before it explodes dramatically. Reinvention occurs through micro-actions repeated daily, tiny choices that perhaps nobody notices, building new behavioral patterns like muscle memory. Small actions, compounded over time, produce revolutionary change. It resembles a slow curve that everyone ignores until it suddenly rockets skyward. People celebrate the dramatic pivot moment, but the authentic work happens in the anonymous daily grind. Don't abandon your pursuit before the miracle arrives. Apply this principle of persistence to whatever you're striving to achieve, create, or express. Countless people retreat just before breakthrough. Imagine knowing with certainty that you're only 6 months from the life you've envisioned. The health, income, lifestyle, and body of work you've dreamed about? What if success were guaranteed, and your ideal self waited just 6 months away? One condition exists. You must appear each day and execute everything you know you should be doing. How would you show up if success were inevitable and merely 6 months distant? We all understand what needs doing, yet few actually act. You already know your perfect 6-month trajectory. You already know who you want to become. Stop waiting for permission to inhabit your own life. Past events weighing on your mind don't determine your future. You might protest that circumstances drastically altered your path, leaving you disoriented. But you remain in pursuit of legacy, still journeying toward everything you've imagined. Today stands equal to any other day for taking correct action. Circumstances don't affect your ability to choose your next move. Continuing forward or remaining stagnant, that choice never changes. You cannot control external circumstances, but you absolutely control your response to them. Recognizing this truth means taking ownership of emotions rather than letting emotions control you. Seizing your will makes you the architect of your destiny. Accept responsibility for your actions. Apologize when wrong. Acknowledge how you treat others when anxious, angry, or upset. Regardless of what life delivers, you control your response. Every word and deed represents a choice. Blaming others offers easy escape. Demonstrate patience. The only element you truly control is yourself. Deactivate your feelings when pursuing improvement. When the alarm sounds, feelings must vanish if greatness is your goal. Feelings must surrender to ambition. People change under 4 conditions. When pain forces them to, when inspiration moves them to, when knowledge empowers them to, and when support enables them to. Just as good becomes the enemy of great, comfort zones become the enemy of courage. Comfort zones feel beautiful, but nothing grows there. Tell yourself the unvarnished truth. Practice brutal honesty. We all construct stories to avoid unwanted tasks and justify desired actions. You become skilled at believing your own narratives. But you know when time exists despite pretending otherwise. You know when you could do something you claim you cannot. Deep within, every single person recognizes truth from self-deception. You might successfully convince others, but you cannot truly fool yourself. Though you might rationalize momentarily, that deep-rooted shame persists. The shame of desiring a certain version of yourself while deliberately choosing to be less. Why limit yourself from experiencing your potential? Because you're scared. You're afraid. You don't know the outcome. It doesn't feel comfortable. That's perfectly acceptable. I've come to understand that life's beauty doesn't lie in pursuing happiness. It lies in pursuing experiences, understanding that existence is multifaceted and multilateral, not confined to one emotion. I'm not chasing happiness. I'm chasing life itself. Life arrives in different forms across different seasons. Life's most significant impacts stem from the story you tell yourself about what experiences mean. The framing you place around present moments largely determines your experience of them. Having confidence in yourself, an undeniable stack of proof that you can handle whatever appears, becomes critically important. Nobody's coming to save you from yourself. If you don't learn to push yourself from bed and out the door, if you don't learn to hold yourself to standards higher than your excuses, you'll perpetually procrastinate. You'll perpetually feel anxious. You'll perpetually choose easier immediate options instead of difficult actions that forge your best self. This is the secret to everything. Learn to do hard things. Learn to do things you despise. When you learn to hold yourself to elevated standards, you become unstoppable, because you won't stop yourself. You deserve exactly what you choose to settle for. You control what you accept. You control what you allow into your life. Nobody, nothing, no situation controls your existence without your permission. When we declare goals, dreams, or aspirations, we imagine smooth sailing ahead. We forget that opposition, challenges, and obstacles are inevitable. That's precisely why you create habits and routines, not just for favorable times, but especially when chaos erupts. The distinction between successful and unsuccessful people exists here. If you're dissatisfied with your current position, you must change things. But you must consciously decide to change. This decision depends on nobody else. It doesn't matter what your mother thinks, your co-workers think, your siblings think. They're irrelevant. This decision belongs to you alone. Confidence originates in action, the willingness to attempt things. You only need to know that trying won't destroy you. You'll simply learn something. When you learn, it dissolves a fragment of insecurity, making the next attempt slightly easier. You cannot fix problems without identifying their source. So you ruminate endlessly, and problems balloon larger with contemplation. You descend into rabbit holes of analysis. Why things are as they are, why you're sad. Usually these rabbit holes conclude with blaming others. Parents, teachers, friends, bosses. Now what? How does identifying fault help you? It doesn't. Right now, you don't know if your self-told story represents cold truth or mere excuse. If you want to solve problems, act first, then analyze. Move, then think. What can one person do? Deliver their best effort. If you fail, try again. If you win, try again and improve. As long as you maintain consistency, you'll forever be a champion in the eyes of those who love you because they support persistence. To discover your identity, you must spend time with yourself. Isolate your mind. Observe your thoughts. Question yourself. Explore your imagination. With time, you'll not only find yourself but discover what brings you alive. You'll find purpose, something worth chasing. Now you possess both yourself and a grand adventure. Being alive means you're all in regardless of your choices. This existence will ultimately end you. So you might as well play the most magnificent game possible while you're here. Why not pursue the best possible endeavor? Because you're more powerful than you recognize. Vastly more powerful than you imagine. You're blind to your weaknesses, but you're equally blind to your strengths. How far could you go if you stopped wasting time and lying? If you oriented yourself toward the highest possible good you can conceive and committed completely? How much good could you accomplish? Why not discover the answer? What belongs to you will always find you, regardless of how lost you currently feel. That dash between your birth date and death date, that's what matters. Countless people said, next year, tomorrow, next time. They carried their dreams, books, gifts, passions, purposes, and legacies to the grave. Guard today. Make today your first day. If you truly make that decision, moving toward your best life begins now. Every single day you postpone necessary behavioral change, you make transformation harder. Every day you reinforce old habits, old behaviors, old patterns. Breaking them becomes more difficult. If you maintain your current trajectory, by 40, 50, 60, those habits will become nearly impossible to break because you've spent decades reinforcing them. Will you wake up one day magically transformed into a new person? You've told yourself that for years without it manifesting because you must unlearn accumulated habits and behaviors. But starting today makes it easier than starting tomorrow, next week, next year, or a decade from now. The longer you wait, the harder your journey becomes. This is simply reality. You're always competing against yourself. Two versions exist: a winner and a loser. Within you lives someone who'll do everything required to transform goals into reality. Within you also lives someone who'll procrastinate life away. You contain someone disciplined and focused. You also contain someone easily distracted who doesn't execute plans. Which version surfaces? The one you feed more. I face challenges constantly. Each new challenge signals another opportunity to grow, to expand, to open up. Be grateful for your problems because they're specifically designed for you, for your growth, development, and acquisition of qualities you need to become your destined self. Your unique set of problems exists precisely for your evolution. Study yourself. Improve yourself. Don't worry about others' actions. Learn from them. Don't change yourself to become someone else. Consider the time spent trying to be someone you're not. If you invested that time and energy into being authentically yourself, how much further along would you be? We create what we focus on. Where focus goes, energy flows. But most people focus on obligations, not possibilities. They focus on current reality, not what they're here to create. Leaders see things as they are, then envision them better, then manifest that vision. You develop the vision and make it reality. You can make every decision one of two ways. Either move through life acting on curiosity and hope, making decisions from expansion and self-trust, or build your life and make decisions from constriction, fear, and doubt. Ask yourself which you value more and act accordingly. If everyone around you supports you, you're probably not attempting something significant. Most people don't want you excessively successful or happy because it exposes their limitations. Don't let people with small lives and small thoughts project their restrictions onto you. They're trying to get you to merge onto their road. Don't yield. You were born for the road less traveled. The best revenge is success. Nothing surpasses showing the world you achieved what you promised. Their negative words, their hatred, their declarations that you'd never succeed, all irrelevant. Look at your current position. Be proud and dismiss external negativity. Be the boring friend. Sleep early. Prioritize work and chase dreams rather than pleasure. They'll call you crazy, but you're doing this for yourself. Besides, you're meant for something greater. It'll prove worthwhile eventually. Regardless of what you're experiencing, sadness, pain, trauma, you're strong enough to see another day. It's not about operating at full capacity daily. It's about consistently showing up. Your journey might not have started with clear answers laid out perfectly. You might have stumbled initially, but those missteps don't define you. They forged you into someone deserving of creating profound life change. Right now, you hold power to alter your future. Don't wait for perfect timing or circumstances. Believe in yourself. I believe in you too. Each person contains a lower self and higher self. Your lower self emerges when you consume junk food, waste days gaming, avoid work, display laziness, or treat people poorly. You feel somewhat bad, somewhat ugly and rotten. You might not admit it, but something feels wrong. But when you exercise discipline, spend months improving fitness, develop better habits, complete projects, collaborate effectively, you're tapping into that higher potential every human possesses. Those willing to risk going too far discover how far one can actually go. You must take the risk. You can no longer play it safe. Now it's time to get risky. Now it's time to discover what you're made of and what you could achieve. Now it's time to discover how many lives you could impact. Now it's time to discover your destined becoming. You cannot have an easy life and great character. Show me a trust fund kid who inherited wealth and I'll show you someone mentally tortured. It's not the pursuit of happiness. It's the happiness of the pursuit. The journey matters more than the destination. It's who you become during the journey. If you're not overcoming this obstacle today, this week, this month, this year, suddenly a decade passes and you're still stuck. If it's preventing you from reaching your destination, perhaps you should deny it ever happened. Kick it aside. Declare, I'm done with you. I'm sick of you. I'm tired of that thing holding me back from where I want to go. Never say you can't do something. Say you haven't done it yet. That applies to everything. There's nothing you cannot do. You may not have done it yet. We don't know your capability until you truly practice and discover how well you can perform. You must let your current self die for your new self to grow. This requires constant appraisal of your skills and activities. Which strengthens me? Which increases my likelihood of hitting my goal? Consistently ask this question repeatedly. Frame every person, activity, and behavior. Does this make achieving my goal more or less likely? Imagine a competitor you'd never want to face. Focused, persistent, always learning, always improving, relentless, refusing everything except what makes them stronger. You know how they look. You know how they act. You know their associations. That's your future self. Now become them. A dream becomes substantial when you have something difficult to relinquish. You reach the point where you're capable of risking more than just a dream, something normal people wouldn't understand. Right now, focus on yourself. Everything about growth. Don't worry about past mistakes. You're competing with yourself. Just getting better continuously. Your life truly changes when you realize some people are gone and won't return. Stop attempting to revive what died years ago. Some people stay forever, but most are only passing through. That chapter is history. Instead of rereading the same chapter endlessly, make space for people who actually deserve your time and attention, who are presently here with you now. When life gets tough, remember it's like driving. Sometimes you get lost. Sometimes you must take streets you dislike, full of traffic or too bumpy, but they lead you where you need to go. Each rough patch has purpose, teaching lessons and building strength. You might not understand why you're on a difficult road, but trust the process. Every path, regardless of hardship, is necessary for growth. The bumps are steps toward where you need to be. Keep going. Even when the way is unclear or crowded, you have a destination you're meant to reach. Life's funny aspect. We can have so much yet feel something's missing. There's always that empty spot making us wonder why. We make excuses, seeking reasons for this feeling, wondering if there's a solution. It's because we can't release things, holding on to dreams of perfect life. We forget that good things take time. Pleasure passes quickly, but shame remains. That's harsh stoic truth. But the reverse is equally true. When you work hard for something, when you invest difficult labor, that passes quickly. But the pride, the virtue, the good that emerges, it remains. It's about accepting seasons. Weather can never be constant, but it can never rain endlessly. Maybe you're in a season, but weather always changes. What can you learn? What can you do this season? Because it won't change unless you're discovering what lesson you need. If it never rains, plants don't grow. Both fear and faith require believing in something unseen. Think about that. Both include uncertainty. Both require discomfort. One keeps you small by anticipating danger or pain. The other wants you to grow by anticipating joy or love. If you're stuck between doubt or hope, fear or faith, perhaps the simpler question is, which do you value more? Once you answer, start acting from there. Most people, when they fail, don't like examining themselves in the mirror and acknowledging, maybe I have to change. People want change to happen to them. They don't want to change. When you realize change won't happen to you, that you must actually proactively determine your future, only then can you take full accountability for good actions, bad actions, and your entire life. If you feel lost, congratulations. Being lost means one thing: you're about to be found. Sometimes you need to lose your way to find a better way. Sometimes you need to lose certain things to gain better things. Sometimes certain doors must close that you wanted open so better doors can enter your life. Difficulties in life don't stop you because they're heartbreaking or profound. They carry potential for highest transformation. It doesn't matter if you feel overwhelmed, frustrated, mad, bitter, or unmotivated. These feelings don't matter. It doesn't matter if friends or parents don't believe in you. These things are irrelevant. How you feel doesn't matter in the equation of building a life. What you do matters, that's it. Most people don't fail because they're inadequate. They fail because they never go all in. They remain in the life handed to them instead of building the life they actually want. When you ask for strength, you're not granted strength. You're given an opportunity to be strong. When you want to change your mindset, become mentally strong, become more disciplined, you're not granted superpowers that enable endurance and unwanted task completion. Instead, you're given pain to feel, challenges to endure, mountains to climb, things you don't want to do that you must now do because you want discipline. You're given a test. It's up to you to pass it. Once you pass, you're given another test and another and another. The more you lean into that mindset, the more it becomes you. When you want stronger muscles, it's not ask and receive. It's ask and get yourself to the gym and start lifting weights. Start feeling that pain and you will earn strength. If you want to develop a certain trait, you must do things that require it. A friendly reminder. In 3 generations, everyone who knew us will be dead, including people whose opinions stopped you from doing what you wanted all along. Imagine someone you know achieves every dream and hits every goal. Years later, they get old and die. 2 years after that, how much do you care? About as much as everyone else will if you accomplish your goals and dreams. Do it for you. This is so simple, don't miss it. Most people don't lead their life. They accept their life. When you accept your life, you're living on things unworthy of your time, effort, and energy. Think of Alcatraz prison, once housing the most hardened criminals. Today it's open for tours. Many attempted escape, but none succeeded. As the tour guide explained the impossibility of escape, consider other prisons equally confining but where doors are never locked, no guards patrol walls, and escape is encouraged and possible. That prison is habit. Be consciously aware of your actions. Is habit controlling your daily routine? Is that what's controlling your life, your destiny? Or are you choosing and moving toward your dreams? Your habit of thinking about yourself and your environment is either jail or paradise. Look around at people rich emotionally and materially because they think and feel rich. See people laden with emotional and material debt because they think lack. Some are inspired with vision. Others, unfortunately, are encumbered by doubt. Some are moved by ambition. Others are paralyzed by fear. Some feel free to change. Others feel safer in monotony. You don't eliminate self-doubt through the same means you learned it, in the head. Self-doubt is purely head-created. You were taught it and you do it to yourself. The fastest remedy to fixing this terrible situation is doing the thing you're afraid to do. Do it. It's about action. Courage. You experience courage when doubt is present, but you act anyway. Your problem isn't doubt. Your problem is courage. Doubt will be there. But doubt gets out of the way when you express courage. What's the difference between winners and losers? Prior to every upcoming event, losers think of the last time they entered similar experience and it didn't work out. They think of previous failures. They vividly imagine how embarrassed, humiliated, unsuccessful, how badly they felt. Losers relive and recall failure and poor performance. Winners insist upon reliving and recalling excellence and success. You can tell if you're destined to be a winner or loser simply by examining what you think about in each coming event. If you just make the decision right now to think about what you desire, ask yourself, am I thinking about what I want to happen or what I'm afraid will happen? Remember, the natural tendency is thinking about what you fear, not what you desire. So force your mind using the law of substitution. Take your mind off what you fear and refuse to entertain it. What happened to you won't change. You can only determine what becomes the consequence of what comes to you. How will you transform it? Will you let it stuck inside, slowly eating you from within? Or do you make something different about it? This is based on thoughts, on mental redirection of yourself. The biggest trophy I ever got in my entire life was figuring out me. I realized it's not about money. It's not about fame. It's not about acceptance by peers and everyone else. It's about figuring out who I am and being happy with who I am. Aren't you sick of seeing someone else on Instagram putting in work you should be doing? You can watch someone else all day, but don't you think life would actually change if you were running the miles or starting the business? You've got to stop just being a consumer of greatness and start producing it. Because an extraordinary life doesn't happen by accident, and nobody's going to make it happen for you. Please don't fall for the chosen one complex, because the only person saving you from a life of standing still is you. Your life is blank every day. Nothing predetermined. Put on it anything you want. You don't have to let what's on the previous page determine outcomes. You don't have to let what somebody tells you is coming determine things. You can put anything on it you want. You got a clear sheet. Every one of us has. Now grasp that. We can start over right now. Build the image. That doubt is burned off by courage. Ralph Emerson said, "Do the thing and you will have the power." We're waiting for the power. We're waiting to stop self-doubting. Whatever you're deciding that you want to do with yourself that you're doubting your ability on, just do it. Get through your mind that success is not doing the right thing. And it definitely isn't doing the right thing first time. Success is having courage to move in the direction of your dreams. Moving in the direction that your heart is taking you. That is success, progressively realizing that fit. Let it fall apart. Not everything is meant to be held together. Some things are just meant to crumble. The discomfort, the uncertainty, the chaos, it's not a sign you're failing. It's proof you're outgrowing who you used to be. You don't have to see the whole path right now. You just have to trust that where you're headed is better than where you've been. So let the old version of you dissolve. And when the dust settles, you'll realize you never needed to hold on. You just needed courage to rebuild. Winston Churchill said, "Success is going from failure to failure to failure without a loss of enthusiasm." Doesn't matter if you win. That's not success. Success is going from failure to failure to failure and still being excited to show up. This is how I view success. Success is like love. The beautiful part about love? Getting hurt and then coming back for more. That's optimistic, to have your ass handed to you and yet wanting to be vulnerable again. Wanting to go through this again. Wanting to open yourself to this. Wanting to be touched by that. Wanting to feel that. People can get behind that. We can get excited about that. We want friends like that. We want to feel that in our own lives. That willingness to have tasted defeat and still come in open and not jaded. How beautiful is that? The greatest hazard in life is risking nothing. The person who risks nothing, does nothing, and has nothing. You may avoid suffering and sorrow, but you simply cannot learn, feel, change, grow, live, or love, chained by your certitudes. You will be a slave. Only the person who risks is free. Success is progressive realization of a worthy goal. But progressive realization means you're doing things you don't know how to do. You're stepping out in faith. You are being courageous. Your self-doubt will step out of the way when you build courage to do the thing. And the power will be added to you. Let the miracle of everything available work for you and start working on the inside. Work on your philosophy. Work on your attitude. Work on your personality. Work on your language. Work on all your abilities. And if you start making those personal changes, I'm telling you, everything will change for you. The only way to get to day 800 is to start with day 1. One decision, one shift in mindset, one thought of being tired to stay the same. The only thing that matters is starting. Day 1 turns into day 2. Day 2 turns into a week. A week turns into a habit, and a habit turns into a lifestyle. Because the only difference between day 1 and day 800 is consistency and relentless will to just keep going. In the shadows of our grief, hearts heavy with loss and minds burdened by the world's weight, we confront the stark reality of existence. Pain, sorrow, and despair are unavoidable companions on this journey called life. These emotions, though often unwelcome, are intrinsic to human experience. They remind us of our love's depth, our connection's significance, and our existence's fragility. But even in our darkest hours, there's a flicker of light, a reminder that we are not alone. Each tear shed, each sigh of anguish is testament to our shared humanity. We are bound together by struggles, and it is in collective suffering that we find strength to endure. Life is fragile, and its beauty is often fleeting. We're reminded when we lose those we love, when dreams shatter, when we face harshest trials. It's easy feeling overwhelmed, succumbing to crushing hopelessness. Yet precisely in these moments we must remember human spirit's resilience. Our capacity to adapt, to persevere, and to find hope even in bleakest times defines us as human beings. We may stumble and fall, but we rise again. We carry memories of those we've lost within us. Their spirit fuels our determination to press on. Their dreams become our dreams. Their hopes our hopes. We honor them by living fully even as we carry the ache of their absence. The road ahead may be long and arduous. There will be times when we feel we cannot continue. But let us find solace in quiet strength residing within us. Let us draw courage from love and support of those around us. In our grief, we discover depths of compassion, breadth of empathy, and power of unity. Together, we can face any challenge, overcome any obstacle, and find a way to move forward. As we navigate this difficult path, let us hold on to belief that despite sorrow, there is still beauty to be found. In the laughter of a child, the warmth of a friend's embrace, and the gentle touch of a sunrise, we find glimpses of hope that sustains us. These moments, though fleeting, remind us that life is still worth living, that there is still joy to be experienced, and that we are capable of finding happiness even in midst of pain. Life is a mosaic of joy and sorrow, each piece integral to the whole. Though we may be consumed by sadness, let us not lose sight of moments that bring us light. Let us remember that even in darkest night, stars still shine. So, let us move forward with quiet determination, honoring our pain while embracing possibility of healing. Let us live not just for ourselves, but for those who can no longer do so. In our shared journey, we will find strength, we will find purpose, and we will find a way to carry on. If you leave things as they are now, you'll regret it for the rest of your life. You just got to truly believe in yourself. It's hard. There's a lot of UPS, a lot of downs. A lot of people telling you it's not going to happen. A lot of people telling you it will happen when they have no reason to. It's really all about how much trust you have in yourself. You got to have a vision. You got to have something you want to do with this. And you got to be willing to work for it. Most people will doubt you at the beginning, including yourself. But that will all change if you keep putting in work. Yes, you'll make mistakes. But there's no substitute for effort. That's something nobody can take away from you. It's hard to count somebody out that never quits, and that's you. They don't see it yet, and you might not either, but soon you will. Stick with it until you figure it out. Nobody is coming to save you. There'll be people that help you. There'll be people on your path that give you counsel, give you advice, but there's nobody that's going to come save you. The brilliance of life is you're going to have to figure it out on your own. You're going to have to learn hard lessons. You're going to have your heart broken. You're going to have to lose money. You're going to have sickness and illness. You're going to have these experiences to really callous yourself in life and learn how to get things done on your own, because there's nobody that's going to come save you. You know what you want for your future, but you kind of want it. It means you want it, but only if it's not too difficult or if it's not an inconvenience. So, the question is not do you want it, the question is how bad do you want it? We got to quit looking for reasons we can't and start looking for reasons we can. Anybody can make anything work. It's just what are you willing to do? The answer needs to be anything, because it's that hard. You have to be willing to do whatever it takes to get what it is you're trying to create. And that means anything. Don't obsess your whole life about future, because you'll miss out on what's happening right in front of you, because at the end of the day, life is incredibly short. This is it. You only get this one life, and it's going by pretty fast. You don't want to mess around. There should be sense of urgency, I think, in your life. That's how I tried to live my life, with sense of urgency that every day is kind of precious and matters, and you're not going to get second chance at this. Stop taking things so seriously. No one is getting out of this game alive. Literally, in 3 generations, no one will even remember your name. And if that doesn't give you liberation to just drop your problems and find some joy, I don't know what will. Life is inherently ridiculous and guaranteed to end sooner or later, so you might as well enjoy the ride. Master consistency. Become loyal to your path. Continue to remain focused on your destination. Refuse to be distracted. Isolate your mind. Surround yourself with things that align with your vision and your vision only. Utilize every minute of your day to cover more ground, bringing you closer to success. You may be asking how to achieve this mindset, but my question to you is, why would you choose otherwise? Why would you choose to be inconsistent? Challenging you today. You gifted, you talented, you got it going on, but you do not demand of yourself more than your boss demands of you. Your boss give you a check and you Johnny on the spot. But when you have to be on time for yourself, when you have to do something for yourself, you fall short. If you don't do more for you, at least do what you was willing to do for them. If you can't do it for yourself, find that same tenacity that you found to give them what they asked for to give you what you asked for. You owe you. Don't nobody else owe you. You may not have had the year you wanted so far, but maybe you're having the year that you need. Grow, learn to be alone, and find peace with your darkest thoughts. Maybe this year, although not what you wanted,